Hello! Hi, and welcome to episode 155 of the Game Brew Podcast, the mostly bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs, discuss video games. And I am your host, Dan Game Informer Rotz, and I'm joined by Allison, Nintendo Power Vandevender, excuse me.
Yes.
Chris, Chris PC Gamer writes.
That feels right.
And Kari, Electric Gaming Monthly Bowen.
I still don't remember this one.
And on this episode of the Game Brew Podcast, we asked the question, do we know too much about video games too soon? But first...
We know too much.
We've gone too far. But first, it is time for a bev, because this is a Bevs and Video Games podcast. So, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
what are you drinking?
Oh, interesting. So I am drinking the Speculoos Cookie Butter Beer from Trader Joe's, made by Hardywood Brewing in Richmond, Virginia.
I'm sorry, the Speculoos.
Have you ever had cookie butter from Trader Joe's?
No.
I've had cookie butter.
Yeah,
but
so Trader Joe's is known for their cookie butter. It's excellent. Imagine peanut butter but cookie flavored.
Yeah, cookie butter is so good.
It's so good. I just eat it with a spoon out of the thing, and it's great. It's fantastic. So this is a beer that is flavored that way, and Hardywood is known for their very strong, especially Christmas ales. I can't remember which one they do exactly. It's I think it might be a gingerbread one. So this should be in their wheelhouse, and the smell of it is incredible.
Okay.
So it smells like cookie butter and beer. What is it on the sweetness scale?
It is extremely sweet, and that's why I was oh, interesting.
I would expect it to be with a name like cookie butter.
Yeah, so it's an imperial golden ale with toasted coconut, vanilla beans, and natural flavors. It's 9.5% alcohol. So it's a potent potable. Chuggability is it's probably the lowest chuggability beer I've had in a long time.
Because it's too sweet and heavy.
It's sweet and heavy, and I mean, I'm definitely gonna drink it. I'm a little. I'm not sure if I love it, but I think it's a good Christmas beer.
Oh, okay. Christmas
you know what I mean?
Beer. Yeah.
Around then, there's a lot of the
aromatic, flavorful beers,
gingerbread
beers, gingerbread, that kind of stuff. It kind of has that vibe. So not really a fall beer, but I don't know. I wanted to try it because I love cookie butter. Anyways, that's what I'm drinking.
I've never heard of cookie
October's the month for candy and sweets. So
my first major D&D character that I played or made was sort of played, I guess, right? It was a halfling, and I chose the last name Hardywood because of this brewery. Because I thought it sounded appropriately halflingy.
That does,
yeah.
Hardywood.
Hardywood. Fredegar Hardywood.
Of the up Downton Hardywoods. Yeah. But yes. Allison, are you imbibing a beverage of any kind?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have wine, but I don't know. I guess I'm going hard today. So
are you drunk right now?
No, I haven't had any yet. For the record. But what I mean is, I decided to pull this out of my fridge because it's been in there for a really long time.
Oh no!
And I was like, I'm just going to do it on the podcast. So this is just a little teeny tiny bottle.
Oh, it's adorable. Watermelon.
It's watermelon.
It's Malibu watermelon.
How does that go with having also, because Malibu has coconut in it, right?
Yeah.
So you have coconut and watermelon?
Isn't there a whole thing about not combining fruits from different places? Regions?
I have never heard this before.
I'll tell you, it doesn't work in my head.
Peach mango is delicious. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true. I guess that
peach mango is good. So and to that effect, I really do like Malibu. It's the best clear rum to me.
Okay.
It's just very easy to drink. It's like my big contrast. I have my Kraken, my dark rum, and then I have Malibu for light and easy and fruity drinking.
Got it. Got it.
And I don't like watermelon normally. So I got this one in an airplane bottle just to try it. Because Malibu rum hasn't steered me wrong. But
it's probably gonna taste like a Jolly Rancher.
This is the evening of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even drink it yet. That was a bad smell though. I don't know why it smells like postage stamps.
I don't usually smell postage stamps.
I can't. Or like a scratch and sniff sticker or something like that.
Don't you know when you taste something you smell it? Postage stamps.
Like the way.
Actually, most of what you taste is actually smell.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's what it smells like. Anyway, I don't like watermelon when it's really artificial. So that's usually watermelon flavored things, and here it is.
Here it is. All right, it's going in. For those listening at home.
It's going in. It's going in. It's not coming out.
It's not coming back out, which is a good thing.
That's half the battle. It's great.
That doesn't taste like watermelon at all. Oh my god. I don't
postage stamps.
What is it?
This Malibu's
like
expired.
After.
Oh.
It doesn't expire, does it?
I don't think so. I don't know.
It's probably fine.
No, that's awful.
That's why you have to drink the alcohol, the vodka real fast.
Where's your wine chaser?
It's like syrup.
Ew. Well,
like in a good way.
That makes sense to me. No.
Like, do you want to take a shot of syrup? I don't.
I mean, maple syrup.
No,
like
sure,
like artificially like
watermelon.
What are the brands? The
if I were to give you like Fruity Pebbles, Mrs. Butterworth,
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah,
I had Aunt Jemima this morning. Well, it's not called Aunt Jemima anymore.
No,
it's called. I believe it's called Pearl Mill.
Pearl Mill.
Yeah.
Did you have it in a shot glass and think you were drinking watermelon? No, I
could have.
Pleasant,
but I didn't. No, I had it on French toast. It was delicious. My mother made it for me.
Sacre bleu.
Anyway, no one do this. Next.
Don't do it. Next. Kari, are you imbibing a witch's brew this evening?
No, I'm about to surprise you, and I'm going to give you options. Okay.
Options.
So
I like options.
Let me start this by saying, this is me running down to the gas station convenience store and just finding something that looks either Halloween-y or spooky. So I have no idea what
I can go
I'm
to the gas
with.
station and buy alcohol.
Oh, fun story. I got carded.
Hooray!
Look at you! Look at you!
I laughed and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And she kind of looked at me weird, and I was like, "I'm 46." She's like, "You don't look 46." So anyhow, we have this Devil's Backbone, Belgian style triple. I don't know.
Triple. This triple. It's triple.
So Devil's Backbone is in Virginia.
In Virginia.
About an hour. Would you say an hour south of where we went to school? Yeah.
We also have a Devil's Backbone here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do.
Interesting.
I almost got hit by lightning up there. It was lovely. And then the other one I have is this Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA.
Oh, somebody's drank that before on here.
Yes.
Voodoo Ranger. So it had a skeleton. And this one had a devil. And I figured, okay, which one? Vote, guys.
What are you looking for? Are you looking for sweeter or hoppy?
Sweeter.
All right, do the Devil's Backbone.
Do the Devil's Backbone.
Okay.
And then tell us how that is.
Don't explode. All right.
That's I have to say that to myself regularly.
TMI.
Right. Don't
TMI.
explode. Well, maybe he was just telling himself just don't.
It has a little bit like
Sure.
Oh, what's that flavor? Like some kind of a spice. Almost maybe nutmeggy?
Mm-hmm. Nutmeggy.
Can't tell.
That's a good name. That's a good name for your wild friend, Meg.
My wild.
She's crazy. She's a nutmeg.
She's nutmeggy.
Yeah.
But
that old
like
Meg.
What's the chuggability? Oh yeah, Allison. I'm so sorry. Firstly, what's the chuggability rating of the Malibu?
Negative 487, give or take 100.
So don't do it. Kari, chuggability rating.
I mean, I can't chug it because it's too much bubbles for me. But it's also a little strong. So
it is a triple. A triple is pretty high in alcohol content. So
they are.
So I would probably not chug this.
All right.
Unless you want me like this.
So a 0.
So a 0 or like a 1.
1.
1. Okay.
1.
Okay.
I'll take it. Well, I mean, look, I'm not an alcohol drinker, so I'm a sipper, whatever it is.
That's fine. Totally fine. I'm continuing my trek through American Oktoberfest beers. This is from Toppling Goliath Brewing Company. It is their Oktoberfest lager.
And
oh, that's chuggable.
The chuggability is moderately high. I would say like a 4.3. It's a little thick. It's a lager. Yeah, it's a little bit sweeter than I would expect a Oktoberfest beer to be. You know, sometimes I feel like I want to be a little bit more refreshing. The caramel is a little bit over, like caramelly dark, sort of malt flavor.
Maltiness.
The maltiness is a little heavy for me, but it's good. It's good. Multipass. Lilu Dallas. Multipass.
Yes.
Be better prepared for next time. And we'll maybe you guys will have to give me some suggestions.
But it's so
I
highly recommend choosing beers the way that Hannah does, which is you look at it
blind,
and you just see, it's like, do I like this label? Yeah, and then you.
That's how I would drink beer.
And then if it's good, great. If it's bad, it has a cool label.
That's how I pick wine. Like when I go in, I look at the labels and I'm like, oh gosh, these beers are so cool. I wish I could drink them. And maybe they're horrible, but I really wish I could anyway because the bottle's so cool. So I do that with wine, and I'm usually really disappointed because I don't know what it is about the coolness factor of wine bottle labels versus taste. It's very off.
Yes.
So do you go for pretty labels or raunchy or crazy? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know while you were here, you chose some Snoop Dogg wine, which was pretty good.
It
was really good.
Honestly, Snoop's wines,
pretty good.
A couple I've tried, I haven't missed. They're very good.
He's got a good palate. It's because he hangs out with Martha Stewart all the time. I just want to point out.
He's
Gray has resubscribed to us for 30 months so far. Gray.
Oh, wow. A long time.
Thank you, sir.
Yay.
I'm barely even 30 months old.
Thank you.
Wait, what? Hold on.
What?
You've been
what?
You should be drinking if you're 30 months old.
Put that beer down. Can I see some ID, boy?
Thanks for being here, Gray. We are going to switch over to the part of this is a beer and video games podcast. We're talking about the video games. I'm going to start because I just want to talk about one that I've been playing, and that Ian actually has been playing too. Former host.
Little game called Starfield.
No, it's called Lies of P. Lies of P. You might remember me talking about the demo for this a little while ago. Lies of P is this
the Pinocchio thing?
Yeah, it's a Souls-like based on, it's like a dark Pinocchio world, sort of. So it is a Souls-like game, which is very interesting, because it has a lot of moving parts in it, and I don't know if that was on purpose, because there's puppets and clockwork. They're called.
It's it looks very steampunk. It looks.
It's like a steampunk Italian Renaissance, but also there are these puppets and lots of gears and clockwork stuff around. It's very cool.
Visually, it looks like Dishonored a little bit.
It's a little bit Dishonored. It plays a little bit like Code Vein, and it has a lot of characters in it, very similar to Dark Souls and Demon Souls, that kind of stuff. The play style is very interesting because there's a lot of moving parts, like I said before. So you have weapon attacks that you do. Then you also have an arm, kind of like in Sekiro, where you can add different attachments to it to like pull things for you, shoot electricity, shoot fire, do all that kind of stuff. And then your regular like dodge and like throw stuff and use stuff. That's kind of it. But the weapons are pretty cool because you can change your weapons to be like they have a blade and a handle part, and both of those parts have their own special ability that you use by filling up with fable power, is what it's called. So again, a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that happen in it, but it is cool because you can kind of take like, oh, I really like this blade, but I like this handle that has this special power that it uses, and then you put them together, and then you use them. My favorite thing is I have a handle that's from a big giant charge saber, and then the blade part is just a big wrench, and I just and so it's just a wrench that I basically rock it up to people and smack them with the wrench, kind of like a steampunk Ratchet and Clank.
That's awesome.
Love that.
But the story is really interesting in the world that it's kind of created because it has Pinocchio-esque sort of things, but instead of being a puppet, the puppets are like these steampunk / clockwork mechanical creations. Yeah, I keep burping in the middle of
he's verklempt.
I have to say, like, I really love, like, even when I was a kid, I would gravitate towards books that took like those classic fairy tales or classic stories, and just like flip them on their head and do something funky with them.
Have you read the Witcher books? Or
I haven't yet.
The Last Wish.
Actually.
Go read that because it's literally that.
Okay, I'm reading a D&D book right now. The Doric story, like her story from the movie. So
nice.
Once I'm done with that one, I'll jump into that because I was thinking that I was like, man, I'm really into this, and now I'm going to be sad when I'm done. Nice. But yeah, I really love those kinds of stories. There were a bunch when I was younger that kind of took it and really twisted the stories in a funky way rather than just retelling them in a different way.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw you, not that I stalk you, but people just pop up on Steam saying they're playing games. When I saw you were playing Life of P, I thought, oh, the title's cut off. Then I clicked on it and I'm like, no, it's not.
It's just Lies of P.
Yeah, I sat there for a minute. I was like, Lies of P, and I questioned like what kind of game you were playing for a little bit, and I'm like, I was like, you do you, boo boo. But I was really wondering what this game was, so I'm glad you talked about it.
It's dark, and it is like it has some like parts that are yucky. It has some stuff that's pretty messed up. There's also like a blocking system that you have to learn, like a blocking and retaliation, and it breaks people's. Again, there's so many moving parts in this game. It had to be on purpose because of the way, like the content, like it's Pinocchio and it's like robots-esque stuff. The blue fairies in it too. You collect stuff called ergo instead of, I don't know. There's so many things. It's very cool. I highly recommend it. It's free on Game Pass right now if you have it. So don't play Payday 3 because it's broken. Instead, play.
But I have so many things I need to play, Dan.
I know. Add this onto the top.
It's so hard.
Add this onto the top. Let's go to Bubba. Chris, because I want to hear about the Warhammer tournament.
All right. So I did a Warhammer tournament this weekend. It was a team tournament, which is a little bit different. So basically I was on a team of me and two other people. We were paired. There was, I think, 14 teams total. So each round, there was 5 rounds over 2 days. And so when you're paired into a team, the 2 leaders of the team roll off, and whichever team wins puts up a player that everyone is able to see each other's list. The team that wins puts up their whoever they want to put up as kind of like tribute, basically, and then the other team gets to choose who plays that team, and then the other 2 players on the team that won get to choose 2 players from the team that lost. So basically, like the team that lost gets to choose 1, the team that won gets to choose 2.
Okay.
So there's like a little bit of strategery there in trying to figure out who you're going to play against. And so my team went. We won 3 rounds and lost 2. We were actually in the top table on the last round, but I didn't win any games.
Yeah.
And I did draw once, which
nice.
I at least got that. But yeah, it was really tough. And part of it is I was playing with one guy that's really good. He earlier this year he was like in the top 18 out of 300 some at one of these tournaments.
Very cool.
Like one of the biggest tournaments on the East Coast. It's called Nova. And another guy who's pretty good. He has won a couple tournaments and like some bigger tournaments, but and then me, who like I've won a couple small tournaments, and I was like just getting, and I was using a new army and that I haven't used in a tournament before. They recently got nerfed in rules, and so like it was just like
there's a lot of things coming together.
Didn't feel great.
Oh,
I just think it's like, it was cool you did it though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like the concept of it and like the strategy of it was a lot of fun, and like playing with all the like it was a fun tournament. It would have been more fun if I had won a little more myself, but I mean overall it was a lot of fun.
Good.
So yeah, and a lot of the games I had were a lot of fun, even though like I was like a lot of the games I was in were close games. But yeah, it just it's hard sometimes. It's hard out there.
It's tough.
But keep going and win some, you lose some. And
last night I bought some things to help. Like I bought some new units that I have to paint up and stuff. So I'll have them hopefully ready for the next tournament.
Ooh, you'll have to show me what your new stuff is. I'm always interested.
Yeah. Did you take any figures? Did you take any pictures of your setup?
I did take pictures of the 2 of the games that I played in, so I'll post those later on the Discord.
Nice.
Awesome.
Gray has a follow-up question asking why did they get nerfed?
So basically, what they've done in this 10th edition came out earlier this year. There were a couple armies or factions that were doing really well. The one that I played is called Adeptus Custodes. They're basically like the Emperor's Guard, and they're like super elite, and there's not like I basically only had 32 models on the table. So not a ton of stuff. They were doing pretty well. They were at like a 55% win rate. There was other armies that were like in the 60% range, and they didn't get hit as hard by nerfs as the one that I'm playing. So that sucks. But yeah, so it's just they're trying to make it so basically all armies are within a 45 to 55% win rate.
Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And they started
balance,
with yours.
Huh?
Well, they did a run through and basically changed a lot of the top armies to make them a little worse. And we got kind of the short end of the stick. Other armies that were doing really poorly, they added some rules to help them. So it's and like they also like point balance because every unit you have, it costs a certain amount of points. So that's like a little more fine tweaking, essentially. Gotcha. is the point stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Chris,
so it's a whole thing.
Chris, do you know where I keep my armies?
In your shirt?
In my sleeveys.
There we go. I knew it was going to.
That was good.
Just for time, because Chris, I see that you've been playing Starfield, and
it's Starfield. It's great.
Okay, perfect.
And then, so I went to Busch Gardens for the first time in 11 years since I worked there last weekend, and that reinvigorated me to play Roller Coaster Tycoon on my phone.
Perfect.
And that's always great.
Always good. Always good. Kari, what's been going on with you?
Yes.
The good news is Kari and I are probably just going to combine ours.
Yeah.
You guys were hanging out and stuff.
Oh, that's right, because you were down in Tejas.
She was down here visiting. We didn't really play much. We played some board games and we went to pinballs. But
pinballs!
I love pinball.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's got a full bar, and they've got all the classic arcade machines, all the pinball machines, like newer ones, older ones. They had ice cold beer. We got a picture of Allison in front of ice cold beer. But yeah, they've got all kinds of fun stuff. It's a great place.
Allison, and I had a rainbow road drink, by the way. I'll post it.
She did.
Ooh, very cool.
Allison,
did you do the Ian stance in front of ice cold beer?
Oh, I love the Ian stance.
The Ian
well, you have to be tall to do the Ian stance.
You have to be tall, but you basically spread your legs as wide as you can.
So your waist is right at the.
Is it a real Ian stance?
Yeah, it's like you have to like.
When he plays really ice cold beer, it's great. It's like if you've
I
seen.
didn't even notice he has a stance. I watched him play the tournament at MagFest, and I didn't notice his stance.
He has a power stance for sure.
He does. It's amazing.
All right, Allison, you have to come back. We'll have to retake the picture.
But I'm sorry. Continue.
Well,
sorry.
We've been playing. Well, we've also been gaming together, but her and I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and then last night we started playing.
There was an alarm going off. I had to get. I'm back.
Well, I was just saying we were playing Baldur's Gate 3, which last time we tried to play, every which way we went, we just got smoked. So it was not a fun night.
I'm not even kidding. We logged in and died 4 times. Complete
white.
There's
unforgiving.
There are some really tough fights in that, especially at the beginning.
Right.
Like
yeah.
It really forces you to like go learn and use the environment, or else you're gonna not have a good time.
We were too low level for where we were going at the time. So we should have just teleported map travel out of there, and we didn't. But the other thing we played was this game called The Ascent.
I've heard of that.
We were having a lot of fun with it last night, except for all the bugs. So Allison
wasn't having any fun.
Allison was having a really tough time with the game. It didn't like her. But it's
shocker. I'm breaking games, but it was so frustrating. It was nearly unplayable at one point for me, and I was just ready to quit. I actually took an anger shot, so that's how bad it was.
But if the bugs weren't there, it's actually a fun game. You can do 4-player co-op, and it's kind of a cyberpunk kind of look and feel to it. You can get little upgrades and add-ons for your character, but you're just kind of going around. There's a story, so it's a story mission kind of to it, and you're going around shooting things, opening chests and shooting things. I don't know, what would you really compare this one to? Is it an
isometric, like, is it like a twin stick shooter sort of thing?
No.
I'm gonna go look at pictures of it.
Twin stick shooter. Sorry, I don't know if I know what that means.
It's so like you're using one stick controls like your character moving around, and then your other stick controls like.
Well, see, I wasn't playing it on the controller. Yes. I was playing it on my.
Sorry, yeah, we were playing it with a keyboard, so my brain didn't comprehend what you meant.
But yes. it's like you move your character around and you choose the direction that they shoot stuff in and like do special abilities. Got
it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
but yeah, I recommend it. I mean, other than the bugs, we were having a good time.
Well, you know what they say, the only good bug is a dead bug.
That's true. Yep. Kill them all.
I agree.
Unless it gives you lots of cool stuff, then I don't know.
Kill them all.
But yeah, would you so you would recommend it still? Like, even though it's like a little buggy, you would still recommend it for people to play?
Yeah.
So far, I mean, I want to hold my recommendation until I play it a little bit longer.
Okay.
I think it's gorgeous
without bugs.
Yeah,
it's very visually appealing. Yeah,
it looks visually appealing.
When you bought it, did you buy it or is this on Game Pass?
Bought it.
I bought it. Now
I think it's on Game Pass.
So right now it's on sale. If you buy the bundle, it's 70% off. It's only like $15 or $17 or something like that. If you just buy the game itself, it's $30. But if you buy the bundle, which includes the game, it's $15 or $17.
Gotcha.
On Steam.
Did you do any research about this before you bought it?
A bit.
Oh, it was just like Fee said, "Hey, we're going to play this
a little bit," which is an interesting segue, I think. Yeah.
The segue into what? Oh wait, the topic that we're going to talk about is
I was trying.
Let me just get on my segue.
That's softball.
I was doing this thing.
Good job.
Oh, I know.
Job.
I just had to ruin it a
Laid
little
it up,
bit.
I spiked it.
I had to ruin it.
And went, what ball?
because the topic we're going to talk about is knowing too much about video games before we get them. Is it too much? Like, is it ruining the way that we play video games to have them basically laid out before me? I kind of think about it like this. I put this in my notes as an example. You know how you go to the movies sometimes and you see a trailer for a movie, and in the trailer for the movie, it basically is just like the whole movie, but
yes,
in a a minute.
That was definitely a trend for a while, and I hated it.
All the best parts were in the trailer.
Yeah, and it's like it's there are now we kind of know all of these things. We have so many like conferences and like game reveal events and all this stuff. So we see a whole lot about video games before we actually start playing them. So the big question for the topic is there such thing as having too much info about games before we go and buy them or play them?
So I want to take you guys back to the 90s or early 2000s.
Oh,
and
okay.
Imagine you're going into Blockbuster Video. Your dad took you here.
Did everyone else get the same smell memory?
I did.
Like that weird stale popcorn smell. It was weird.
Yeah,
I'm wearing
coupled with plastic. It's great.
I used to work in a video store.
I'm wearing Jinko jeans, and they've been dragging around in the rain.
Work?
Huh?
Where didn't you work?
Yeah.
I think that'd be
I did, but it was in Scotland, actually.
What? Anyways, we don't have time for that right now. We're in Blockbuster.
There's too much.
Dan, I really want a picture of you in Jinko jeans.
I swear there's one out there. There's probably some out there.
So yeah, you walk in with your Junko jeans to Blockbuster. You're swishing around, and
it was raining, so the bottoms are really soggy.
Oh, it's so heavy. Good thing he wore a belt.
It's a studded belt though,
with spikes.
Yeah.
And you roll up to the Nintendo 64 section, and you start perusing all the different options there. I think they just let the cartridges out on the shelf, didn't they?
They had for a while. They had the boxes.
Yeah.
You're right. And then like behind it had the Blockbuster box. You're right.
Yes.
So you find one that kind of sparks your interest.
Oh, Clay Fighter 64.
Oh, I saw that one all the time. Vivid memory. This one has cars on it with like missiles and guns, and they're all driving fast. It's Vigilante 8, and it looks awesome. And you take it home, and it indeed is awesome. You knew nothing about it when you came in. All you knew that it had cars and guns and shooting and shit blowing up, and it was rad. And that feeling of like, just kind of like I miss that feeling, and I don't know if we're ever going to have it again. And I think it's partially because video games had to be shipped in such a fashion where they couldn't be broken when they came out, like they can be today, because you can just fix them. They had to be a complete experience. So like the floor was already set to a playable experience.
Yeah.
And so
got it. Okay.
You could always,
like, you can't hotfix and patch.
You can't hotfix it. It had to be a playable experience.
Right.
So like, yeah, some games like Superman 64 could be hot garbage, and that's disappointing. But like, it technically functions. But like a lot of the time, I would find games that like would technically not be great, but I had a blast playing them. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I do.
And that was cool. And I feel like now, like a lot of the time, games are either good or bad, or like we just don't give them a chance because we know so much about them now. There's so much information about them that we don't really get a chance we don't take chances on them anymore.
But do you think that age is a factor in that?
Like
I think
that
so.
we're older, or that the gaming has become more nuanced?
Well, I mean, he's being nostalgic. Chris is being nostalgic about that feel when he was a kid. And we'll never get that feel again. But, and the way we thought about games then, as a kid, because I felt that too as a kid. But as an adult, it was definitely different because I was doing a little bit more, looking more at advertisement and stuff where I wasn't as much as a kid. And I was a kid in a different generation than you guys too. So I think, my experience is similar. Like what I'm trying to say is, as a kid, that nostalgia feel that way you think about games, I think it was very different. And then when I grew older and the way I'm looking at games or thinking about spending my money purchasing games or renting games or whatever, nowadays, or, back then, because I was still an adult renting in a video store.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that
I
could
had
be
that
true.
Experience.
Like my nephew gets like super pumped about video games sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that game looks like hot garbage because I've read about it. But he looks just like, he seems just super pumped about it.
It's like, this is really cool.
That's a good point.
Interesting. That's interesting. Is it nostalgia based or is it? But have you noticed, Kari? You've been in the video games, space for a long time. That's the way I'm saying it. But
Sunny boy.
I've been playing video games. I fell off my dinosaur when I died in that episode. But have you noticed that there is a change in the way that video games are marketed, or like the way that people report on video games? In the intro, I gave everybody the names of video game magazines. That used to be how we got info about games, right?
Yeah, like that. You needed your Game Informer.
I needed to get Game Informer
when I went
every
to games.
month.
Yeah.
So I knew what the next Call of Duty was going to come out and be like, whether it was good and whether Randy gave it like a 9.6 or whatever. I needed to know what the reviews were.
During that time, I think especially when I was a kid, there wasn't a whole lot of mainstream kind of advertising that you would just see in your everyday for video games, other than like when Nintendo came out. But they were really advertising for the console and not so much the game. Unless you were getting like a specific like game magazine, which even back then, they're really, like in my time, there weren't really a whole lot of. But now it's like, it's always in your face, there's like Twitch streaming, and yada, yada, and internet news, and it's all at your fingertips. You can, connect on social media directly with the game developer, and they can drop, their daily, what they're working on if they want to. So we have, all that information at our fingertips now that we really didn't have before. And it's a choice. Oh, well, I was just going to say now it's a choice on whether we want to be informed, how informed we want to be or not. Because I lean on the side of, I don't really necessarily want to know. I don't want to spoil it. Okay. And I hate when game companies release a game to Twitch streamers first. I'm about to knock myself because I'm a Twitch streamer. But it ticks me off because then I'm forced to make a choice of, do I get to spend the evening watching my favorite Twitch streamer ruin a game for me that I, want to play?
Want to play myself.
Or,
interesting.
Right. If it's a game that's a story, I'm less inclined to want to watch it. If it's a game that's just like survival, yada, yada, I may, stick around.
So, it's more of like you want to see the gameplay versus if it does have a story. You don't want to like ruin the story for yourself.
Correct.
Makes sense. Allison, go.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that first point. I am a giant adult child. I
think everyone here is.
Well, no,
I'm a child adult, which is different, but
I'm a man.
I'm also
very child.
Irresponsible with my money for myself and games. I don't really care how much something is going to cost if I want to play it. I'm buying it for myself. Mm-hmm. So like those things aren't really factors for me. So I would say it's not like completely rooted in age, at least not for me for sure. I feel like I'm the same gamer I was in the 90s because I'm the same person I was in the 90s. I'm wearing a stretchy choker that's plastic right now that I owned back then, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty, that's pretty close.
This is just me. This is who I always was, always will be.
I'm just Ken.
And that's Knuff.
And
but
I'm Knuff.
I really want one of those sweatshirts.
Me too.
I definitely think that like that's not as much of a factor. I do think like the advertising piece has a lot to do with it, like you were saying, because like back then I subscribed to all the magazines. Like that was something that I absolutely needed.
Same.
And I needed that demo disc because that was the only way I could try the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before it came out, to know if I wanted to rent it at Blockbuster and spend my hard-earned money on that.
Honestly, I was just happy with the demo disc. It was so like I had an IDOS.
I know, same
with Thief, and I could never beat the first Thief level.
I would just. There were games that I would play the demo disc over and over and over again because I couldn't afford the game. And I was just like, I love this game. So like that's definitely a big factor. But I also grew up when X-Play was around, and that was like the only video like media you could get for gaming and reviews and things like that.
Yeah.
So like that was huge for me too. And I know that really changed a lot. But now modernly, I don't want to watch anything like that because I think they had a gentle hand with it and they never released like too much information, and they were really giving you like technical things like how the game plays, how it feels, the look, the the vibe, and then like a genuine rating to not spoil anything. Now you have to trust Amber 417 on TikTok as you're scrolling through your TikTok to not accidentally blow up a spoiler in your face of a game that you haven't gotten through yet. And I hate that. I really do.
It is interesting. One of the fond memories of a game that I played that I really enjoyed and was very difficult is probably Hot Garbage, but I really liked it. Was there the first Mission Impossible movie? There was a game that was for that.
On the N64.
Yeah, on the N64 that I played. And I'm sure it was like by today's standards, it was hot garbage, but I still remember being like going through, and I was like 12. I'd never seen Mission Impossible. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff, but I was like, oh, it's really cool because you have to like go find the key card and then do this thing, and then you have to find the fireman disguise and then get into the basement, and then that's how you go through there and you do all this stuff. And I only got that because I looked at it in the store. I didn't know anything about it, and I still have really good memories associated with it. But if I had known that it was that, if like people had said like, oh, this game is hot garbage, don't go play this game, would I have done it? Or if somebody had said this is going to be the newest, biggest thing in spy thriller video games, would you do it? Very similar to kind of the way that, remember when No Man's Sky was coming out, people were saying like all of the stuff everyone was saying was, oh, it's crazy. There's so many individual different worlds. You could go anywhere. You could do anything. And then it was released and everyone was very upset.
I mean, that was
overpromised.
Echoes of Fable.
Fable was another one.
Specifically, any project that Peter Molyneux is involved with.
But yeah, whereas it's an open world. It wasn't an open world. I
did love the first Fable, though.
Fable's great.
I loved every Fable. They were great. I loved them. They weren't what he said they were going to be, but I loved them.
I didn't love all of them. I think the first one I liked a lot. But do you think, are there like, is the reporting on it, is that part like of the problem? That we're getting, people are saying things about the games and they have these lofty ideals about like, oh, this is what it's going to be. And they're telling us that before it even gets out and it's released and it's nothing like what they say it's going to be.
I think I think there's just like a combination of people's expectations. And then sometimes like with No Man's Sky, there was like kind of a extended and like more involved hype than it probably needed or deserved. I think the guy was like promising way more. I can't remember his name, but like the guy from the company that made No Man's Sky just promised way too much, and to the point that he was basically lying.
Yeah. Yep.
And that is one problem. Like that is a problem. But also, like, people also just get their expectations way out of whack.
Yeah.
And they hear like little things and just expand on that and just assume that it's going to do something that it's not.
I mean, I think that's a general issue in every media, but I think we feel it in video games more just because of the way we experience them. Like false advertising. It's never going to be something that works. So I'm not sure why it seems like companies try to do it. Actually, no, I lied.
They do it because, and part of it is also like a lot of the like publishing companies on like the news sites that post stuff about it, or like YouTube streamers. They just want people to interact with what they have. Like they might purposefully say something that is incorrect so that people will correct them. And sometimes it's not corrected, and then it's a problem.
Well, and I was just about to say, like, false advertising never works, but I think about mobile games and the amount of false advertising in those like quick ads you get, and then it's not like the real game at all.
That's why I was like, oh, Reign of Kings, pull the things out and get the guy to get to his gold. And you're like,
it's like,
okay.
What a fun puzzle game.
Let me download this. It was like, wait a minute. It
does not do that ever.
It doesn't. Right. It's never that game.
Right. And it works for them because
I know because I've checked.
Yeah, they get people who are interested in the game that doesn't exist to play for a little bit because they're like, I'll get to the point that happens, right? And then it never does, and they've hooked us long enough to get some AdSense out of us, and that's all they really want, I guess.
My AdSense, it's tingling. What about the things? Do you think now? Sorry, this is. I know I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, unless anyone else has any thoughts on whether people are overpromising. Because Allison posted something in her thing about the need for visual like validation, where it's like, do you remember whenever we bought physical games like that when that was a thing, and you like look at it, and you'd be like, "This looks cool. I want to play this," you know. Bubsy, it's a cartoon character for the set for what was that for? Was that for the Sega Saturn? Bubsy
was PlayStation, actually.
PlayStation, okay.
Mm-hmm. PS1.
But it's like, it's just I was like, oh, it's like a cat guy. He's got a sweater. He's got like a T-shirt on. He's probably really cool. Or like Gex the Gecko.
The Battle of the Mascots.
Yeah.
Spyro the Dragon back in the day.
Spyro's still cool though.
Spyro's on my desk right now.
But
man, Gex. Whew.
Gex the Gecko. But it's like, remember that being a part of games, and now it's just like a title of something, you know, with a 2 after it because everything's a sequel.
Or the name of the developer, like Sid Meier's. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was a big. I remember there were so many games that had Sid Meier's in front of it, where it was just like this.
Sid Meier's Pirates was so good.
That was good. That was a good game. But do you think that has made it? That has an effect too on like the visual aspect of it, like looking at something like it. I don't know.
They show me gameplay and not just cutscenes, because that was a problem for a while too, where they wouldn't show you gameplay; they'd show you just like cinematics or extremely enhanced cinematics that you'd never actually see the graphics that way on your system.
That's one of the things, like, and they don't explain it, and we're at a point where technology has gotten us where the cinematics really could be the gameplay. You know, where it used to be like super clear, like you'd watch Final Fantasy something and you'd be like, oh, that's a cinematic for sure. That's not the gameplay, right? Like you just would know. And now, if
no one has muscles like that, I know that's not.
I know my muscles will be polygonal and like a square, and I accept this. But now, like you can't tell really if you're watching a cinematic or if you're watching the gameplay if it isn't explicitly stated.
They do often now say, like, made in game engine or like actual gameplay or like so they
the
do try
good videos do that.
The good the good people clarify that.
The good people clarify that.
Gray also just said something that reminded me of anytime I'm looking at things on Steam. I didn't know some games were top down until I played, since I only saw commercials and no gameplay. Where it's like, yeah, where you're like, oh, it's like it's there's like soldiers and they're fighting. Wow, I want to do that. And then it's a turn-based real-time strategy thing that I didn't want to play. Chris would love, but I would hate. Sort of game.
A turn-based real-time strategy.
And that was something too, where it was just like when we were in the game stores and or at the video, like GameStop and whatever, we were buying games, or if we were renting them at Blockbuster, we were looking at the cover and we never expected the cover to be the game. We would flip it over and then we'd look at the little boxes that had our gameplay, right?
Yeah.
And that was just like ingrained in us as how it was. And we were okay with it. We knew game art was going to be different from the game itself. But now those lines are so blurred. And like these trailers, like you said about movies, they're giving the whole game away anymore. And it's really frustrating to me. I will avoid most things about games anymore that I actually think I'm going to be interested in.
You did that with Final Fantasy, the remake.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I would watch nothing because I was so scared they were going to give me too much and I wasn't going to be awed by the game. And I really want to feel that, because you just don't get that anymore like we did when we were kids, is just like the awe and the surprise. So I've been completely changing everything to where I avoid all I can with a game. If a streamer I know is playing it, I can't watch them. I'm sorry. I love them, can't support them in this. Like if anything, I just completely will jump to the next if I see something about it, because I've just had so many games spoiled for me, and I don't want that experience anymore.
Kari, I see you nodding your head in agreement.
I mean, for sure. You know, there's, especially if it's a story-based game. If it's like a crafting survival type game, you know, I'm a little bit more inclined, but I think more so it's just like releasing the games to the streamers first before the players, you know, just the mass general whatever. I think that's a problem. I don't like that. I think it's kind of a slap in the face to your players, saying, oh, these people are, you know, more important than you, so they should get the game first. But that can backfire on them.
I don't think that's what that is. Like, I think it's more like they want people.
It's advertising.
It's advertising.
No, I know what it is. I mean, I worked in the game industry. I remember they used to do things like that all the time. We would send press kits out, and then they would send them out to their best players or their most well-known players in the communities too, to kind of build up the game or get them to speak well about the game. But you can shoot yourself in the foot too by doing that, because if that streamer happens to not like what they're playing, and even though you might have, maybe you're somebody who's highly influenced by what that streamer is saying, oh, well, so-and-so doesn't like it, therefore, you know, I'm not going to play it. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, I think.
I think I would agree in that too, because I think there's a lot of, I don't know. I tend to dislike a lot of streamers. That I don't know. Maybe I just see all the wrong ones, or maybe it's part of the like, oh, the people who shout the loudest are never the, you know, like the best. I don't know. But like, I know there were some people playing Starfield who were just like it's garbage. Everything's garbage.
Yeah.
Everything's about this garbage. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like it.
And that's
And I wonder how many people took that stance without trying it, just because that streamer had that
loud shoutiness.
And going back to what I was saying at the beginning about like choosing games based on the box art, basically in Blockbuster, like I also wonder if that made me so I was more tolerant of mediocre games. Like, because like I could find a way to have fun with it. It wasn't like it was fun just because it was new, and it's like I wonder if that was part of it.
We weren't jaded adults yet. That part I do think rings true. We are jaded adults now.
We also have so many games at our fingertips. I have so many games in my Steam library that I'm just like, I played it for an hour and went, this sucks, and never played it again.
Yeah.
That's why.
But if it's all I had, then I would just keep playing it.
Yeah, it's better than, I don't know, homework.
Right.
Homework sucks. Actually, I wish I had homework now. I would love to do homework. As you ever have that feeling where it's just like, man, I would rock some homework now as an adult person. Give me some homework.
It feel really good to do some math problems.
I would slap on some math problems.
See, Alice and I have the privilege of helping kids with homework.
It's true, you do. Sebastian doesn't have homework, so unless naps is homework, then he does those a lot. But so I do, as we're kind of getting close to the end here, I do want to circle around to our kind of initial sort of question, and kind of so do you think that now in this day and age, since we have more information about video games and it's like more readily available and we see more about them before we buy them, do you think that this, as a consumer, is this better for us or worse for us? I'm gonna point to people. I'm gonna make them tell me.
Okay.
Because I don't want anyone to just jump in. I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna point. I'm gonna say your name, because if I point, who knows? I'm in a different place on everybody's screen. But I'm gonna point to Allison first.
Of course, because I needed to think about it a little better.
Then I'm going to curve my finger slightly and point it down to Kari instead.
I think that we as consumers have the ability to block out the information that we don't want. I think that if different people have different opinions as far as like, do they purchase a game? They want to know every little bit, about it. They want to consult their crystal balls and know the ending and everything. I have friends who are like that. They want to know everything about it. They also don't want any challenges in the game. They want to turn everything on that makes them godlike. But I try to avoid all the spoilers. I think there's way too much information out there. It's so easy to like come across spoilers just scrolling through a news feed on one of your social media platforms. It's just I don't know. It's tough. I think it can hurt you. It can give you a preconceived notion about a game that if you had just tried it, it might have been fun. But I don't know. If you're going to spend the money, it's your choice. Do you want to know or do you not want to know? So
I'm going to point to Chris on this side.
So I think it's better now. Like, I miss that feeling, but I think that it's better to know than to not. I think that there's the proper way to do it for like there's the good way for these game companies to like show off these games. And there's like the bad way that kind of just reveals too much. But because you do want some mystery, some mystique around it, I guess. So yeah.
Okay. That X-Men character is pretty cool.
Mystique is great.
Okay, I've thought through.
Mystical, also a good rapper.
I've thought through how to verbalize my thoughts. Thank you for giving me time, everyone. Sometimes I struggle with that.
Allison, okay. I didn't point to you yet, so I don't know.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dang.
So I definitely think it's a good thing. I think with exception. So I think it's a good thing to have all this information readily available from different sources so you can formulate your own opinion based on it. And that's just a little like, I wish I was a scientist from when I was younger in me, where I think information is power and having it out there. Yeah. Having it out there is just like so useful. And I can decide what I want to do, like kind of what was mentioned before. I can look at a review for a game I'm about to spend money on, like really quick, blank out of 5. And I have really quick, when I search it, 10 different generally reputable sources, at least thought to be by Google, come up first to tell me these are the ratings for this game from these people. Then I can take those and I can look at a kind of like top and bottom of what they like and didn't like. And then I can go look at that myself with videos people have made, maybe, that show gameplay, and decide if I believe it or not, if I am on the fence. So I do love having the option of it. But I just wish that the industry would kind of dial back the spoiler bits and dial back those things when they're advertising. That's the part I think is worse than it used to be, for sure. And we could do with fixing. There we go.
Okay. I'm gonna just give a hearty yeah and move on. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I think that just with all advertising, I think giving away too much information about something is really the downside to it. So whenever people do is like, oh, here's the first hour of gameplay for this game, I think that's too much. I do appreciate whenever there's playable demos for stuff. Like, I really did enjoy when the Resident Evil remakes were coming out, getting a chance to experience the remaking of the game before actually buying it and playing it, which is also why I'm looking forward to the Silent Hill 2 remake that they're doing, because Allison's in Silent Hill right now.
I am. This is the remake, actually. You can't see it. Dang it. Sorry. Anyway.
But but I appreciate that part of it. But there is whenever you're advertising for something, and again, I said it at the top, I hate whenever they give away the plot and give away everything. Like, don't give away the farm with your movie trailers or with your game demos or with any of that stuff. I want to have some air of mystery to it. So I do think it's slightly detrimental that there's so much press about stuff, but I don't think it's enough that it's like hurting anything. I just think that for most people, they could be a little bit more coy about their video games. They could, like, you leave a little mystery. I was just watched Pride and Prejudice the other day. I totally get it. I had never seen the Pride and Prejudice movie with from 2006 with Keira Knightley and Tom from Succession, where he does the thing with his hand, where he's like where he like helps her up into the carriage, and then he flexes his hand like it's the grossest thing he's ever had to do. But I watched it and I get it now, ladies. I'm in. Like, the Victorian era, Mr. Darcy, I'm like, he's kind of like the OG emo, responsible emo boy, but anyway, it's that coyness, that stuff that's behind the surface. I want that still. So I do think it's a positive thing, but I wish it would go back a little bit. I still want a little bit of mystery with my video game advertising.
Yeah, I think it's a problem too when a game comes out and then there's like a spoiler. Like, you get the people that are just intense players and they play to the end right away, and then like the next day they spoil everything because they want to be the first to say, "Hey, this is what it is."
Hey, I did this.
You gotta flex your nerd card, sometimes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
100%.
Don't do it. TMI, everybody. TMI. Any final thoughts before we move on, or if anybody's in the chat and has questions, this is a perfect time, and we haven't already answered them. This is a perfect time to put things in there.
And give me beer suggestions for next time.
Kari, beer suggestions for next time. Mm-hmm. And this is when I'll also shout out all the things where it's like, hey, if you have suggestions or questions for us, you can bring them to our Discord at any time, bit.ly/discobrew, DISCOBREW. And you can also just post them in the chat right now, and we'll answer them while we're streaming on the internet.
Probably will.
Right away, at your fingertips.
We'll do our best. But until those questions come up, I'm going to hit you with a few things. The first thing is in 2 weeks. Happy October, everybody. It's October.
Happy October.
It's a spooky
season.
The best of months.
It is the best of months.
It's a wonderful time of the year.
But you have to sing it like a vampire. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I've never said blah, blah, blah in my life.
Blah, blah, blah.
I do. Sorry, I like Hotel Transylvania. I don't know what it is about Adam Sandler.
It's so good.
I always see the meme of Adam Sandler where it's like him in a t-shirt and like Adam Sandler in his movies, and he's wearing like a t-shirt and like big old like basketball shorts, and then his wife, and it's like all of these attractive supermodels, and it's like that's not how it works. But because it is a spooky season, in 2 weeks, which will be the 15th of October.
Sure will.
It sure will. On the 15th of October, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a game view podcast of the movie Silent Hill.
Ooh.
With Allison's favorite in it, right?
Sean Bean, yes. Oh no, Pyramid Head, yes, in that one. Yeah. Even though canonically it's out, I think that's out of like order from the games.
We're okay with it,
but that's okay. Okay, that's fine. I will say Hannah and I watched it last night, and there were a lot of her exclaiming, "Ooh, this makes me uncomfortable."
That's kind of how it's meant to be. It's great.
Which is great. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, it's $3.59 on Amazon to rent, so you can go ahead and do that, and then we'll be talking about it.
You can borrow my DVD, but you need to live close.
Allison's DVD. She'll give you her address right now. Here we go. It is.
Just kidding.
None yet.
But that is what we will be doing in 2 weeks. That is the plan. If anything changes, we will update you. With the after we finish the podcast here in just a few moments, we will be playing Pummel Party. We will preferably play partake in playing
Pummel Party.
We will be people who are a plethora of people partaking in playing Pummel Party. And we'll tell you how it is.
Where we pummel our pals.
We'll pummel our pals in a party.
Probably.
So that's it. Remember, for the Game Brew, we're gonna plug the Discord, bit.ly/discobrew. Listen to this if you have friends who are like, oh, I love the Game Brew. I wish I could see what they look like while they talk about video games. Tell them that we stream. Follow.
Well, we got a surprise.
Look at these beautiful faces. These 4 gorgeous faces. Who wouldn't want to see this every week, 2 weeks ish?
And I was just waving to my beautiful fiance. We finally picked a wedding venue, so we're gonna be. It's happening.
Hooray! Congratulations!
Thank you. It's happening. But yeah, so do that. Follow us. Subscribe if you want to. It would be nice to eventually make it so it's like if there is money that pays for like the domain and all that kind of stuff for the Game Brew, it'd be nice. Not important. We do this because we love talking about it. But it really helps us out if you follow and you subscribe, and tell your moms and your mom's friends to like and subscribe and follow and do all that kind of stuff.
But just the moms. You're here for
your mom's friends.
That would have been
No, it's your moms. It's your moms and your mom's friends, not your friends. I don't care about your friends, but your mom's friends. I do care about them. Kari, do you have anything that you would like to plug?
Well, I will be streaming officially starting again on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you. I was about to ask. I was like, I forget how that is.
Go find me at Pipita, Pippita.
Pippita, twitch.tv. Allison, I just read that. Allison, do you have anything you want to plug?
I plan to stream this month for the first time in a long time. I don't have my date yet. I think it's going to be fairly close to Halloween.
Nice.
Is when I'm going to crack this open and go for it. So I'll post a date when I have it. But yeah, it's Vinalia, Vinalia. That's me. On Twitch.
Perfect. Chris, anything you want to plug?
Nah.
Okay.
Nothing? Okay. No. Think of something.
I mean, it just sounds so dirty when you say, "Do you want to plug it?"
Oh, Chris, you want to plug something?
Oh, I know what you want to plug.
I know what you want to plug.
Fucking go play Warhammer. It's fun.
Yeah,
that's a good plug.
That's a good plug.
Yeah, just go do it.
I've always been interested in Warhammer.
When Allison was visiting, we watched some Warhammer at the Dragon's Lair. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did you have any idea what was going on?
I mean,
they were rolling dice and people were moving stuff around.
I know the general idea.
They were having a good time.
So I played something kind of similar, which was with the Star Wars ships.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about X-Wing or Armada?
Both.
I think it's Armada. Yeah. Whenever you said Dragon's Lair, all I thought was, oh, did you like remember to go left and then right really fast whenever you were dodging the snakes in that one hallway?
We did.
The snakes were cats and they were fluffy and I liked them.
And they were cute and we pet them.
The snakes were cats.
And the snakes were cats and all was well with the world. I'm gonna plug the Mongoose Omelet Boys, twitch.tv/tubecrazed. We play every Thursday. Yeah, the last game we won. It's usually like 7:30, 8 o'clock around that time. So Eastern Standard Time. So if you tune in, it's fine. You can hear us. You can hear us be really just bad at Warzone. It's really great.
They're fun to listen to. I recommend it.
We have a fun time.
Go watch
us. But that is going to be it for the podcast version of the podcast. So remember, send us those questions in the Discord. So we're going to end the podcast the way we always end the podcast, which is by saying good night, everybody.
To you. Oh.
To everybody.
Oh, everybody.
But don't leave.